And if you're ready to go, man.
Let's do it.
So good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for jumping on. Hope everybody's surviving our little snowstorm. Eric doesn't know what that's about anymore. So since he ran south. But big thanks to Eric for joining us this morning. Again, for those that you don't know, Eric Agorno. Eric was a Philly guy for quite some time. Hung out at Bethlehem Golf Club for a while, Eric, right? 5 or 6 or 7 years, somewhere like that.
That's right.
Then Eric broke off and built this wonderful brand that he has, Agorno Golf. Check it out online. It's really fantastic. His YouTube channel has 295,000 subscribers to it. So he's obviously figured out a way to build his brand and do that from a virtual online setting. I'm sure he still does some live one-on-one golf, but he certainly has built an amazing brand here for himself and his coaching team. So with that, I'm gonna pass it over to Matt. Matt's gonna do our Tech 101 for everyone, and then we'll kick it back to Eric to start the conversation.
Thanks, Jeff. Good morning, everybody. Just as a reminder, even though this is very much a discussion today, if you can remain on mute while you're not speaking, so there isn't any background noise, that would be wonderful. Video is 100% optional. Sometimes it is nice to put a face to the name when speaking, but you do not need your video on. There's one button on the screen I'd like you all to avoid hitting. It's a rectangle with an up arrow at the bottom of your screen, which is your share screen. Do not hit that, as that will interrupt the presentation and discussion. If and when you have a question, you can either just unmute yourself and jump in. You can raise your hand using the raise hand feature at the bottom of your screen, or put the question into the chat and I'll prompt Eric when appropriate. If you have any technical issues, please put those into the chat and I'll do my best to help you through those. Just be aware that most of the time they stem from your own Wi-Fi connection. We are recording this session today, so it will be up on our YouTube channel later this week, should you want to refer back to it or share it with any of your other peers. And finally, if anyone has dialed in via telephone today, please send me an email at mfrey@pgahq.com. That way we can make sure you get your PDR credits for this morning. With that, I'll turn it over to Eric.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. It's funny. I'm the online guy, and I have a tech question before we start here. Is there any easy way, and I'm on my phone, that I could do something to see everyone who's here? Like, could I see all the screens? Like, I only have a couple on my screen now.
There is a way you can adjust how many people you see. When you go to the 3 dots at the bottom of your screen, there's a change layout, and you can move the slider at the bottom of the pop-up to the maximum amount it'll allow.
Okay, I won't worry about that. I won't mess it up. All right, let's rock and roll.
We can also prime you when somebody raises their hand if you can't see it, so we can kind of jump in and manage that for you, bud.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Thank you.
All right.
So yeah, appreciate you guys having me. Excited to be here today. Talk brand, talk building online presence. A couple of things just to kind of go over what I'd love to discuss. I have a couple talking points to start with. Really, why building brand is important in the first place. A little bit about my backstory and how we did that. How to start the process. Like, I'm sure all of us are in different sort of phases of doing this stuff online. So I'd love to go through some of that, and really 10 to 15 maybe key little lessons that I've learned along the way that could help. Number 4, would love to talk a little bit about how to monetize, like once we're putting content out and building a brand, how to monetize that, and then take time for Q&A. So yeah, I'll just start sort of ripping off Jeff and Matt. Then if there are any questions, obviously we can do like a bigger Q&A at the end. Hopefully you guys find this helpful. I have some notes here. If I'm looking to the left here, you can see me looking at my laptop. So really the first thing I think that's important that helped me in terms of building a brand was me learning that the number one goal, right, with building a brand is simply building a bigger audience. Simply building a bigger audience. Like, that to me is what brand building is. So if I look at me coaching golf in 2014, 15, 16 in Bethlehem, PA, my audience was pretty small. right? My audience was essentially Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Maybe not even that big, maybe a couple of people at the golf course. And the reality of increasing money, right, is supply and demand. And that all starts with more people knowing who you are, having a bigger pool of potential customers. And so, like, if we looked at even now in terms of building brand and building a bigger audience, if we were to think about who are like the top 3 to 5 most recognizable people in the golf coaching space, like who would we think some of those people are? You would look at like Butch Harmon, right? You look at like maybe David Ledbetter, maybe Jim McLean, Mike Bender, Chris Como, guys like that. And then I'd be like, well, like, what do all those guys have in common? Is the most amount of people know who they are. Like if I put Butch Harmon here, and then the next coach and the next coach and the next coach, the most amount of people know who Butch Harmon is. And then what does that do for him? That does a couple things, right? That enables him, number one, to help the most amount of people, and number two, to be able to create the most amount of revenue. Like the people who have the biggest audience make the most money. They help the most amount of people. They're able to do what I think all of us want to do, which is like, we're all here because we love coaching golf and giving lessons, but I'm sure there's like certain people we don't want to, we don't love teaching, or maybe we love teaching 3 lessons a day instead of 8, right? We love parts of what we do, but that also doesn't mean we can't monetize it big as well. But it's just all about building audience. Like the number one thing I'm thinking about when we're posting YouTube videos or Instagram videos or anything is, what do we need to do to get more people to know who I am? And that's it. Because I'm going to convert, right? Like we're going to convert relatively the same amount of people. If 1,000 people know who I am and I can convert 10% of those 1,000, I got 100 customers. If 100,000 people know who I am, right, then 10,000. Like, what about 1 million people? And so I think in terms of building brand, it's like, I need a bigger audience. It's going to help me help more people. It's going to help me make more money. And then it's like, am I going to do that? Are you going to do that by yourself? Are you doing that currently by yourself? Or are you going to use and utilize other people to help with that? Like, who could you utilize other people to help you with that? That could be people that have bigger platforms than we do. That could be like a golf channel. Like, think about the people who are on the golf channel who have that huge audience. The Michael Breed of, Martin Hall for that period of time. More people know who they are, so they have more opportunities. But it just all comes back to building audience. So I think when we're looking at metrics of building a brand, because we're all going to get better at coaching. Like we're all already going to do I'm sort of separating this, like I'm taking for granted the fact that we all enjoy coaching. We're all going to spend time getting better and learning, and that's a given. But if I give a great golf lesson or do a great video and nobody sees it, the impact is only on the person in front of me or the several people. But if I do a great lesson or a great video and 100,000 people see it, right, then I have all kinds of leverage. So we could probably talk for 30 minutes just about the audience part, but I just hope that one thing holds true in your mind, that makes sense. Like, yes, okay, obviously those people who have bigger audiences have more opportunities. And then I think why building a brand in the first place, for me, building a brand was I wanted to create some freedom. Like if I go back to me coaching 24/7, I think we've all experienced this. When I started coaching, I enjoyed the coaching, but like I got bills to pay, right? Like I need to make a set amount of money to pay bills, which is a lot of, I want to help people, but I need to make enough money to live. And so for me, building a brand was sort of to take the pressure off that. I still love coaching and I want to coach, but I might not want to coach 8 hours a day. I might not want to coach. We'll have a guy who comes in who might be a little bit of a pain in the ass, who I just don't want to work with, right? I want to be able to work with who I want to work with and not work with who I don't want to work with. And I think that we probably all feel the same way about that. So you build a brand and build an audience and create revenue just so we can do more of what we want to do and eliminate the stuff we don't want to do. So I'm going to kind of leave that at that. I think hopefully that's not too boring, and that helps, and sort of why the building a brand with audience is important and why we want to do it. I guess, is there some way we could, like, by raise of hands or pressing a button, Matt or Jeff, like how many of the 30 people here are already posting content on some platforms?
Yeah, let's do that. So if everybody who posts on social right now, hit your raise hand button, please.
I'm assuming it's the majority.
Yeah.
Okay.
John Dunnigan raised his hand 5 times. I don't know if that's legal or not.
What's up, John?
5 times.
So,
all right, cool. Everybody undo your hand. I guess, I would ask, I mean, take a step back real quick. So when you started your brand, obviously word of mouth is one thing, but when you want to reach into this 5-6 figure number of people, is that buying a list from Golf Digest? Is that, buying a list from the Golf Channel? Like what, kind of the first steps on gaining a large audience? Everybody here has probably a few thousand folks maybe following their Instagram, but when you get into the 10,000, 20,000, 100,000, where do those numbers come from?
Yeah, so like I think those are all options, utilizing other lists and brands. I've never personally done that, but I would fast track in any way, shape, or form. Like for me, the things that have worked, I'm going to kind of go through some of these things here now, is like modeling success has been the biggest hack that I've gotten in terms of posting on social media. Like if I want to get more views on Instagram or YouTube in particular, like modeling what has worked for other people and what continues to work is the ultimate hack. Now you have to be good in the videos. Like you need to produce good content that people want to see. But topics and titles that are working, we have to lean into, right? Like, and maybe we can show an example of some of my early and later thumbnails and stuff, but modeling what's success. I think picking 1 or 2 platforms is smart. So if you're doing like YouTube and Instagram in particular, sticking with 1 or 2 things. Obviously the consistency part is key. Like you have to be posting. When we did our YouTube, we posted 3 times a week, every week for 6 years. 3 times a week, every week for 6 years. So just the fact that you're in the game and doing the videos, you learn like, okay, hey, these, start line putting videos aren't getting much traction, but this, how to gain 30 yards off the tee is really hitting. Okay, let me kind of, how do I do that a different way, right? The topics and titles people want, and they're all the same stuff that we know. Hit it farther, gain consistency, fix slice. But consistency of posting is key. Like a lot of people that I see, and I watch what goes on, it's like, maybe you post on Thursday one week, and then the next week you post on Tuesday. And then, one time you post early in the morning, then you post late at night, or you don't post at all. Like we post Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for 6 years in a row. This past year we went down to 2, right? But this will be our 8th year of posting, same time, same. So the audience recognizes what they're going to get. And then frequency is important. Like if you were to sort of draw a graph of followers, how you get more followers, it's like, I would wonder on here if there's anyone by raise of hand who posts every single day on Instagram. Like let's say Instagram. Is there anyone who posts every single day on Instagram? Not a single person in here?
There aren't any hand raised now.
Okay, so I post every day on Instagram. So if there's 33 people in here and I post the most, who's probably going to have the biggest, audience and most views? Probably me, right? Now, like, what about if I posted twice a day on Instagram? Like, well, damn, that's a lot of posting. Like, I don't have time to post. Well, the reality is, especially posting on Instagram, that's something we could do from our phone. Turn your phone around. Maybe you get a wireless Rode mic, for $100-200, and you talk to the camera and go through a video. It doesn't need to be fancy. Like a lot of the growth I had on Instagram was just me talking to camera, making reels. Now we clip up videos. We have a bigger team, but it wasn't like that. So frequency. So like you have to post more. I don't even know if there's such a thing as posting too much. Like who are the names on Instagram that are really big? Who would we say? George Gankus, right? George Gankus basically built his whole brand on Instagram. When he was in his prime, when I was watching a lot of his stuff, 2017, 18, 19, dude, he would post 2 or 3 times a day sometimes. And that might just be him posting a swing in front of, a player in front of him. It doesn't need to be fancy, but he'd post 2-3 times a day. So consistency is key. You got to post the same days and times. It can't just be like, hey, I feel like posting Instagram this week, so I'm going to throw a post or 2 up. It's got to be like planned out. Like we're posting on Instagram every single Monday through Friday between 5 and 6 p.m. And we post Saturday and Sunday at 9 a.m. like clockwork every week. YouTube, it's the same sort of things. Wednesday and Sunday, 10 a.m. no matter what, every single week. So I think those are big, Jeff, in terms of like how to start growing more. Is you have to make it part of the plan and do it. And you can't post too much. Like next year, if we did the same talk and there's 30 people on here, I would hope I'm not the only one posting every day on Instagram. And if you post on Instagram and you're not getting traction, that's a you thing, not an Instagram thing. Like you have to change what the video is about, the topic of the video, what you're talking about. and watch the people who are having success on Instagram and what are they doing. One of the biggest things that helped me, honestly, in terms of modeling success, when I did the same thing in coaching, I some of the guys on here that I see, I can't see everybody's picture, but I've come and seen you. I've come and watch you coach. I know John Dunnigan was one of the first people who let me do that. And I would just come and watch you coach, right? Like, Shadow, how do you coach? And that's how I learned how to coach. And I learned how to do Instagram the same way. Like, what is George doing that people are like, okay, well, I can't dress like that. I can't act like that. I don't have those kind of players, but I can do this, this, and this, right? And the audience that follows my stuff on Instagram and YouTube, man, they like swing mechanics. I mean, gosh, I've tried to throw some like good practice stuff in there, good short game stuff, and on course stuff, and you name it. But it's like they want the pill. They don't want the diet, to lose the weight. They want the pill. And so I've recognized, after I tried to fight that for a couple of years, like, gosh, you really, I really wish you would do this and this and this. It's like they just want to know, how does my right elbow work during the downswing? I'm like, that's not, that's probably not what we need to focus on. But they're going to go searching for the right elbow in the downswing no matter what. And so if they're going to watch a video on it, I might as well do it. I might as well be the one to give it to them. So I think we have to kind of put what we think as coaches aside sometimes when we're doing content. I mean, I fought that in the beginning when we were doing YouTube videos. Our first year of YouTube videos was basically filming me giving lessons. And I was like, I want to have good coaching. Like, I want real good raw coaching. And guess what? Nobody watched it. I was like, oh man, this is like good shit. Like, this is good coaching. But it was literal coaching. It was literal titles. There was no sexy to it. And I remember I went on after our year. So it took us, I posted every week for a whole year on YouTube. At the end of 1 year, we had 768 subscribers, I remember. We made a grand total of $235. And I think our average videos were getting maybe a couple hundred views, maybe. Right? So not a lot of traction. And I remember going on YouTube like, damn, this is good stuff. Why isn't anybody watching? And I looked at what people were watching. I used to watch a lot of Wayne's videos, by the way. Wayne, we've talked about that in the past, the swing analysis. But I watch, hey, what are these people? What are people looking at on YouTube? And I saw like Mark Crossfield and Rick Shields and Chris Ryan. And my video I'd put out was me coaching. And it was like, something very literal, like how to start the ball more right. And then Rick Shields' video would be like, use this one simple tip to gain 30 plus yards. Like, okay, obviously people are going to click on that different style of video. And I really fought doing that for like a year. But as soon as I changed my mind on that, I was like, you know what? We're going to lean into this tip video. We're going to get a little more clickbaity with the titles because people are going to watch it anyway. My priority is like, I want to get people to watch, but as soon as they click on the video, I know I'm going to give them good stuff. Like, I'm going to give them what I think is good stuff. The video itself should be really good, but you got to do whatever you got to do to get the people to click the video.
Yeah.
Right. That's how news and media works. It just is what it is. So as soon as we switched over to that style of video, like I remember like it was yesterday, maybe our videos would get 200 views, let's say. And I think our first video we did like that was like that one simple tip to gain 30 plus yards. And it instantly worked. I think that video got like 1,500 views or something. I was like, okay, we're on to something. And we never stopped doing that for 7 years. So I think you got to to get the views up, be a little more, play the game with the titles and the thumbnails. So picking one or two platforms, posting more, consistency is key. I think if you're just starting and maybe if there's 5 or 10 people who like aren't doing it as much, like, well, I don't know what to post. Again, like I said, you model other people. You don't copy, but you model. But there's also like all of us have 50 to 100 evergreen videos we could do. Just general stuff that comes up all the time. Grip, stance, ball position, takeaway, yada, yada, yada. You could think of 50 to 100 things you could just do a video on, right, to start with. And then you model. A lot of the feedback then as you're building too, like you read and reply to the comments. I've read and replied to every single comment I've got on every platform for 7 years. I see a lot of us in this group here like this who don't do that. Either don't read the comments or read them, but don't reply to them. And I think that's a big mistake because a lot of the feedback and intel that I get to improve is from the comments. Someone leaves me a comment, 90% of them are positive, 10% are negative, but I'll lean into that sometimes and message people on the comments. And I learned a lot from there because we only see our videos through our perspective. We're all golf pros. We see our videos, we see other people's videos, and we have our perspective because we know golf. Like some of you probably watch some of my videos and like, oh, I don't like that. That doesn't make sense. I don't agree with that. I look at it through my lens. One of you looks at it through your lens, but a student, because we're not doing videos for each other. Like I don't do videos for other golf pros. We do videos for general students. And so getting like their feedback, I might have thought a video was really, really simple. And then they send me like, gosh, that was really hard to understand. And I'm thinking, hard to understand, like, turn more. It's like, how is that hard to, but in their mind, for whatever reason, so they're like, okay, it doesn't matter what I think. It matters what they think because they're the consumer. That helped me a lot. Kind of put my ego aside, like, okay, I don't know what they know. And dig into the comments. And then, like I said, lean into what works. Like what I thought was good content for a whole year just wasn't. And it took a whole year to figure out that I need to do more of what people want to watch, not what I want to talk about.
Eric, Lou Guzzi has a question for you.
Mr. Lou.
Hello there, Eric. Hey, happy New Year, everybody. It's great. This is a great conversation. A real quick question on your Wednesday and Sunday posts. Do you have a preferred time that you put these posts up?
Yeah, we do 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And just to follow up on that, Lou, I think when we first looked at YouTube, they'll show you a graph of like when people are online or not, and that our audience is like 95% kind of 35 to 70-year-old male is kind of specifically what it is. And it showed that their time on YouTube was most often from like 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. and then sort of again in the afternoon. So we wanted to hit them in that morning slot. And I think that makes sense for a lot of us. I think a lot of us have the same audiences that I just mentioned. That just is what it is. And when they're going to spend time on YouTube is like early to mid morning and then sort of later in the afternoon, evening. And so a lot of these algorithms on Instagram and YouTube, it matters a lot what kind of views you get immediately. And so I think when you're posting, like, for example, Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to me would be like the least amount of people would be on the socials. But a lot of people are going to be on socials like after 5 or 6 p.m., later at night, and then early in the mornings. So we lean into that. We probably, honestly, in the beginning, Lou, were a little like, that was probably like a convenient time for us. Okay, we know we can post at these times. We'll also do that.
Hey, Eric, with those posts, what's the strongest social media outlet for you? Is it YouTube, Instagram? What do you find is the strongest for your business?
Yeah, YouTube for sure. I think YouTube's the most difficult to do, but it produces the best results that I've found. It just takes more work, like Instagram, you can pop your phone on pretty quick and do it. YouTube, you can do that as well. I think with a new iPhone and a good Rode wireless mic. But when you're on YouTube and the quality of videos that we're competing against are the likes of these like Rick Shields type guys, where the quality is just so good. Imagine you go watch a movie and it's like, gosh, this movie was incredible. And then you go watch this little, movie afterwards where the quality is so shitty. It's just hard to compete with that. But on Instagram, I find less relevant in terms of the quality, can be a bit more raw right on the phone. So we do like 4 to 5 million views a month between YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. TikTok this past year. Also, way more views than I would have ever imagined. TikTok, so that's a whole nother conversation. But let's say we do 4 to 5 million views across all socials. We'll do like 2 of those, let's say 4 on YouTube, 1 to 1.5 of those on Instagram, and then like 0.5 to 1 on TikTok. So it's still majority YouTube. But in terms of conversion of like people online into paid stuff, into customers, for 5 or 6 years for us, it was like 95% YouTube. Like those people, especially because you imagine on YouTube, they're sitting there watching you for 5, 10, 15 minutes in a row. Instagram, they're watching it for like 60 seconds. So I think when someone watches us for 12 minutes, they start to build a relationship and like us more. And I think, Lou, that's been advantageous with that compared to like other forms of media, like, doing the tip videos and stuff. I'm sure you've done a million of those, and you do stuff on the Golf Channel and the magazines and stuff. They're good. It builds audience, but it's a small hit. right? Like if I go watch John Dunnigan's YouTube, like I did before we filmed once, and he's got a 20-minute video right on arm release, that's a lot of time with me and John, right? Or if I go watch Wayne's swing analysis, I used to tell Wayne I used to love listening to his voice on there. Got that deep monotone voice with his swing analysis. And I felt like I knew Wayne before we even met because I watched so many of his videos on there. So I think the audience through YouTube builds the best connection. It definitely has converted well. And then in terms of monetization, you know, up until recently, it's the only platform that pays directly. So like, and I don't mind being open and honest about some of the stuff. Like, I mean, YouTube AdSense, like what YouTube pays you for ads on the thing, like we'll probably do like $150,000 in AdSense revenue. Instagram, we get paid like $5,000. So like what we get paid directly from the platforms is dramatically different.
So Eric, do you have a subscription do you funnel people over to where they pay monthly or yearly or for other content?
Yeah, definitely. So part of the whole thing in the beginning was like so we have a monthly platform, cogornogolf.com. And basically the idea there, Wayne, was like, what could I do beyond these videos to help people more, but then also like to build revenue. And I definitely wanted some kind of monthly recurring revenue, you know, as we all do. And so I think the monthly membership option was something that made a lot of sense to do. And I figured we could do something low enough price. Like we started at $39 a month. That's built, you know, to $69 to $79, where you could get enough people to sign up for it. And as we all know, like if we put a video out about how to fix your slice, but you never see the person swing, we're just flipping a coin, right? But if we could see their swing, I'd be like, oh, hey, you definitely slice because your grip is weak, right? Yada, yada, yada. I think I could help them so much more. So like, okay, how could we do that? Well, we could build something online. And I wanted to be more like a gym model, frankly, where like people pay a monthly fee. Sometimes they use it, sometimes they don't. So they don't like bank lessons or anything. You basically pay a monthly fee to be able to use it. And if you use it, use it. If you don't, you don't. But it's a small enough fee where, you know, some people will be like, no big deal. And I figured we could scale that enough to get, like, my whole goal the whole time, to be frank, in the beginning was, how do we get 2,000 people to pay $50 a month, right? That would be $100,000 a month in revenue. How do you get 2,000 people to pay $50 a month? Now, looking back upon it, I would have rather done, how do I get 1,000 people to pay $100 a month, you know, or even more. But yeah, so we do the monthly lessons. They come in, they sign up, they get access to a whole bunch of videos, and then they also get a lesson every month. And that's myself, and there's 5 other coaches. I think Steve is on here somewhere. Steve was, I think, the first person that we did that with. And so I think that works nicely for us too. Like it's guaranteed lessons every month that people come in, but they come in and watch a video, Wayne, and I'll say, hey, I think the value's wild. Like you get lessons with what I think are world-class coaches for $79 a month. It's like, or you can come see me and pay $1,500, you know, for a couple hours. Like the value's really good.
So they're sending you online videos of their swings.
They're sending online videos of the swing. Yep. And we have like the content. I think one of the things it's difficult to sell video content now. I've found, like, unless you spend a lot of money marketing. We work with a company called Performance Golf. I'm sure some of you have seen their ads. They're all over the damn place. They sell digital products really well because they advertise and they spend a lot of money. But if we're doing like raw organic and trying to sell like, here's your Fix Your Slice program for, you know, $47 or whatever. That's hard to sell on socials. I've found it's been very difficult for me to sell one-off products, very difficult. But if I'm like, hey, you're here watching a video, you want to fix your swing issue, whatever, hit the slice. If I could see your swing, like, gosh, I know we could help you. It's really discounted. And also you don't need a one-off hit. Like you need ongoing coaching. You need ongoing hits here like this. And people have been open to that. I think they feel like they get such a good deal at a low price point. It works for us, you know, still financially, we're able to help a lot of people. And then we get probably 64, like we get 40% members from word of mouth. Like let's say we have 1,300 members on our site. You know, those 1,300 people are going to tell friends and family, and that has helped in terms of like not losing people. But we definitely get them through YouTube mainly. I pitch it in all the videos. We have a banner on there, and I'm not shy about pitching it because I ethically think it's the correct thing for them. Like if you're here watching all these YouTube videos and you still haven't fixed your same stuff, like God, we could see your swing. We could do this a lot faster.
So you have a lot of free, content, but the people that are paying, you don't think that they're looking at that going, oh, why would I pay for a monthly fee when I'm getting all this stuff for free?
No,
Maybe
I agree with that. Yeah, I think that's why I didn't lean into like I sell it like they're getting swing lessons, not so much of the content. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I think that's right. Like I think I've just found the more I give stuff for free, Wayne, like just the more I'm just here it is, the more people end up buying. It's almost like counter to what I thought in the beginning.
Yeah, see, that's a real lesson to learn there, because that's what I never really did. I didn't do a lot of camera on me, here's what you need to do, because I reserved that. We started a site, 2010. I've been doing this since 10 on my website, but it was a hobby for me. I just wanted to play. So, I never really put the amount of time in that you have, but you've done a great job.
Thank you. Yeah, I think, man, it's like the more I'm on, even here, even this, like just open and honest, like this is what it is, and give this stuff away for free. Because even like here, this is a good example too. Let's say there's 35 people on here. If I wanted to do some kind of like coaching business thing, I could tell you guys every secret I have, and probably 5 to 10 people would be like, yeah, I'll sign up for that afterwards. Even though I just kind of gave like, here's all this stuff. Because there's going to be a couple layers deeper, that we didn't talk about. Like if I do a fix your slice video, there's always a couple. I didn't tell them exactly how they should practice. There's always a couple layers deeper to it. But I think the more you give, for me, I found the more that I give away for free, the more I get on the back end. And I also, just real quick to that, and I see Tim, real quick to that is like, I also, like I found that there's Gary Vaynerchuk wrote a book called Jab, Jab. I think it's Jab, 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 Right Hook, which is basically a business book about like give, and then ask. So my philosophy, my sort of game plan is like, I'm giving them free stuff, giving them free stuff, giving them free stuff, giving them free stuff. And at some point I'm going to ask them to do something like join the membership, buy this training aid, buy this product. And at that point you have so much goodwill built up. They're like, gosh, I feel like I owe this guy, something. I'm okay spending the $99 for the training aid thing. And I found that to work really good as well, versus the first interaction being as transactional of like, hey, I'm Eric Gagorno, here's to buy a thing for me. You know what I mean? I found that the more I give away, the easier it is when I do the ask, for the training aid.
You should talk about
Tim.
Yep. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I think you just got to mute. Off the mute there, Tim. Little microphone symbol thing on there. You got one other one, Wayne, while he's doing that?
Yeah.
I got it.
Talk about your partner, your video person, because that's, to make those quality videos that you do, you can't just do it. It's hard to do by yourself. You really need somebody that knows what they're doing.
100%. That was my number 4 on here. It was like, gosh, did I get lucky? Did I get lucky meeting someone who could help do the video stuff? Now I was doing the video. So I met someone, Mary Langle, right? She's my now business partner who does all the filming, the editing, the recording, especially for the first couple of years. We have a team of people who does it now, but having someone help you with it, I think makes it so much easier. Like we saw before, I don't even know how to change my screen on here. So I'm by no means a tech guy. I know very little about it. And B, it keeps you accountable. Like hard, like we did a whole year, and you know what I mean, like I said, like it wasn't like we started posting videos day one and it was great success. So having someone else to help you too, I think keeps you accountable. Now, I think things now are easier to find someone else than they were before. I hire a lot of people through things like Fiverr, one-time online things. So I think now it's easier to find people to help edit. And I also think, Wayne, in terms of just getting going and like getting some momentum going, I really think I'd love to run a test like this. I think if you have an iPhone, and as you know, you need a good mic. Like, gosh, you need a good mic. And you need a good thumbnail. We got to talk about that in a little bit too. Like the thumbnail that I see in a lot of videos. Thumbnails have to be better. If you go on YouTube and go on Eric Agorno Golf and go the oldest videos and look at the thumbnails of my first like 50 videos and how shitty they were, and now look at the thumbnails and the titles of the newer videos, and there's a 1-to-1 with people watch on that. But a mic is so important. But an iPhone now with the steadiness and how good the lighting is, I think is like at least 80% as good as the cameras we spend all the money on. Just like I'm sure a lot of us use iPhones and iPads to film now. Remember we used to buy you guys, I'm not going to name names, but some of you guys probably bought some stuff before my time, but you buy the Casio, cameras for $3,000. Now you can use an iPhone. It does 80% just as good. So I think if you have an iPhone and a Rode mic, and then you send that to like someone online, like a Fiverr, more complicated, maybe more steps, but I think that's an easy way to get someone to help. Tim, sorry, go ahead, bud.
Eric, thanks for the info. Quick question. What's the process for receiving the videos for analysis? Is there something you use? And, obviously, do you discuss camera angles with these people who are sending them in there?
Yeah, the camera angles can be tricky for sure, as you can imagine. We get like 5 to 10 emails per day of people who can't even sign in because their like email and password are off. We have some of those issues. When they sign in, I send them videos, Tim, of like, hey, here's how you camera, face on, generally down the line. Steve can speak to that. I know Steve's on here. Stracke, he doesn't love the camera angles we get. I think you got to kind of like, you got to give them some wiggle room. Like they're not the best in the world, but they try. But in terms of putting them in, so we built this in 2017. At that time, the Facebook groups were like the best option available that we found. So we have a website through Thinkific. You could use like a Thinkific, Kajabi, any of these things so you can put videos on, So that's the main homepage with all the content. And then we built a Facebook group. So they sign up, hey, Eric Agorno, here's my payment. Boom, I get in. You get an email with a link to get in the Facebook group. And then you get a link to the Thinkific site for the content. Now, over time, we started using Coach Now, which I have found to be excellent. I don't know if some of you guys use Coach Now. I use Coach Now for my regular lessons, and I use this now. Coach Now works really, really good. They can literally record themselves in there. You can literally keep track of all the lessons in one spot, and the coach can do the analysis and respond right in there. Coach Now, if I was going to restart today and do online lessons, I would absolutely use Coach Now. I think that's the best one that I've used. They can sign up. It's like $40 a month. It's very cheap. You can create groups in there. It's very good. The other thing too, if people are thinking about building a school platform, or I'm sorry, like an online academy, there's a thing called Skool, SKOOL, that you can build an online community. We're going to probably convert to that next year. It's the best one I've seen so far. It's very simple and easy, where if you want to have people paying you like a monthly retainer and have them communicating in one space and don't want to be on Facebook, Skool, SKOOL. But Tim, what they do is when they join, they can either post their swing in the Facebook group, or they can have their own private space, their own Coach Now space. And it's been interesting. Like I wasn't sure. I thought like, okay, it'd be pretty cool if everyone posted in a community and everyone could see everyone's swing and we kind of learn from each other. I don't think that panned out exactly how I was planning, but sort of half the people kind of like that. And then the other half are like, I don't want to post I don't want anyone to see my swing. I want a private space. So we just give them the option when they come in.
So mostly it's email, or they'll email it, or they'll go right to the Coach Now or the Facebook page, basically, right? Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. And they can post them right in there. And it's like, for some people that's easy. For some people it takes a time or two. It's not like the easiest thing in the world. Like at some point in time, I think we have to develop something. I'm working on an app with another company of like, see some of these apps come out where like literally, like we need them to be able to pull their phone up, press camera, it auto records, auto implements it into the software, and then you could go right in and do it. So our process honestly is probably not the best, but it's just like we've been doing it the same way. We have so many systems built around it that I think it's been harder to change.
Well, thank you.
Eric,
man,
we
my
have
pleasure.
Mr. Bierkin and then Mr. Guzzi.
John,
Eric, hey brother. Hey,
what's going on, buddy?
Rocking and rolling, just enjoying this nice cold weather.
Yeah.
Hey, how often through all the videos, how often are you getting requests for a traditional in-person lesson? And how many, if so, how many are you giving? Are you giving more? And you can or don't have to share this. What are you charging for these people that find you that want to come take a lesson from you? What is your hourly rate?
Yeah, so I think the backstory helps with that. It's a good question. So like in 2017, we launched our YouTube channel. It had zero effect on my in-person coaching in year one. So whatever I was doing before, I was probably doing, call it $80,000 or $90,000 a year in coaching revenue in 2017. That's just me one-off doing lessons. In 2018, when we started changing to the tip style video, I started to first see people like sending me messages about wanting to come in for lessons. 2018, the effect that had is that it raised my prices. I still kept coaching the same, probably realistically 20 to 30 billable hours per week, actual billable hours, 20 to 30 per week. But then I started raising prices because people wanted to come in from the videos. 2019, then that like doubled. And to the point, I never forget, there was a guy that came in from Japan, which I would like blew my mind. I'm sure some of you guys had these experiences too. You're like, isn't there like a closer, guy that you could go see or whatever? But he flew in and was paying me, I think at that point, $150 an hour for like 4 hours. So I think he paid me $600 for that period of time. But then I started factoring like, dude, what did this guy pay in like flights and trips and so on and so forth? So like I got kind of the lowest, like I could charge way more effectively, right? Like he paid me 600, probably paid thousands to travel. And that same year, John, a guy came in from Australia, did the same thing. He's like, hey, I'd love to book a day. So that kind of opened my eyes in 2018. I kept just coaching the same amount, 20, 30 hours and raising my prices. So I think I went from like, I think I was charging 120 in 2017. Then I went to 150, 180, 200, 250, 300, 350. And 350 is kind of where I got for an hour as of like 2021. In 2021, our website doubled every year. So if we had 150 members in year one, in year two, we got to 300. In year three, we got to 600. In year four, we got to 1,300. So by 2021, we were doing so many online lessons and there's so many people joining that I effectively couldn't hardly coach at all. Like I was just doing online lessons all day, which then I realized like, okay, this doesn't make sense. I just traded one sort of problem for another one. And so we sort of changed things a little bit. And then I started switching into more one day. We tried some 2-day schools and then COVID happened, or else I'm pretty sure I'd be doing the Martin Chuck model and probably doing a school every week. So basically now what I do is like a half day option. So they pay $1,500. We come in, we do like a 2-hour practice session and then we play 9. Or I'll do the opposite order where we'll play 9 first, kind of do a full game evaluation, and then we'll do a 2-hour practice session. They pay $1,500 for that. I play 9 holes with them, do analysis, we do 2 hours of practice, and then I'll almost always upgrade them and sell them like a year-long online coaching package. So my objective is to get $2,000 out of that 4 hours of work, $1,500 for the coaching, and then like $597 for the year-long coaching package. That's kind of how I rationalize it in my mind, John. I think that now, like, this summer, I was probably doing 1 to 2 of those a week. So from May through October, I probably do like, 1 to 2 of those a week. And then the in-person 1-hour stuff now is basically just like people I know, old clients I have are buddies at this point in time. And that changes, that changes over time.
That was one of my other questions. Like, so of these people that either fly in or local or whatever and come work with you, how many of them are still like a regular recurring student of yours where you can like really develop them?
I would say, I think last year we converted like 60, I think it was about 2 out of 3 who came in to see me for a half day session would buy the year-long pass. And because I'm also like, you just spent $1,500 for 4 hours in one day. Let's spend another $500 for the next 12 months, right? Like we can keep this thing going. So it's kind of an easy sell at the end of the process.
But yeah, and I mean though, like, so how many of your students or how many of these customers actually come work with you like regularly in person, where you can really see a development in their game, in their scores, you know, in their learning and understanding and all of that, where like you're really developing a player.
Yeah, less and less now for sure. And I think that you sort of at some point in time as you're building have to make a choice of where you want to put attention. Like if let's say we have 1,300 members on our site, and if we're overseeing 1,300 students with 5 coaches, I think you can have a less dramatic effect on more people, or you can have a bigger effect on lesser people. And I don't think either one of those is right. Like, I think if I want to help, you know, if I'm helping 1,300 people every month, I can't give them the same whatever energy, attention as I would if I had like a stock of 20 students per se. So yeah, I think you kind of pick your battles there, you know, but I would say our online people, like not many of them are coming to see me in person. I think Steve maybe could speak to it, but I think you probably get some people here and there that want to come see you and come from YouTube videos and stuff. I also like, you know, that's of who I'm allowing to come see me. Like I turn down, obviously now a dramatic amount of people who want to come for lessons, because I think that I can get 80% of the job done online from home in 15 minutes. Like, and it takes time doing online coaching to see that. Like if you told me when I was doing in-person coaching in 2017 that I could get almost the same thing done online with someone, I would have not been super open to that concept. But I think as you coach so many people online, just like we did in person, you learn how you need to change your coaching because it is online, and the drills they need to have. Like they need really good feedback stations. They need to be able to utilize camera by themselves. They need to only do really one thing at a time for each 30-day block. So I think you can make it as effective. Like I've seen Steve as a good example, Steve Saraki. Like I see him do online lessons. I watch a lot of them, and I've seen him in person. And when I see the month-to-month improvement of the person, it's not as good as in person, but it's not super far. It's not super far off.
Luke
Is there
has
another hand up somewhere?
Yeah, Luke.
Hey, Eric, two things here. On the online, do you do like a swing evaluation for the members that are on the site versus an online lesson with somebody that comes in? So how long would that be if there's a swing evaluation? How long is that evaluation? Is it like a voiceover and then the online lesson itself? And then I have another question after that.
Yeah, so what we do now is when they sign up, they'll send in face on and down the line, and then they answer 9 questions. So a pretty good feel of like what they're working on, what they're struggling with, what they want to improve. And then as you know, you can look at a video. We'll probably do like I would say a 5 to 10 minute voiceover of those. So we're drawing lines doing voiceover. So they have that as the initial analysis. And then we'll do a personalized video of us to them, kind of explaining those issues and what they should work on. That's probably another 5 to 10 minute video. And then we would link any videos that we have either in the library or social that would correspond with those. That's our typical process. I will say on that, one of the things that works so good, and I haven't done it as much just because I've been spending time on other things, but if you want to build up you know, people to do online lessons, we've done free trials where the process, and this works so freaking good. So you would offer a free swing analysis. I would do the voiceover, face on and down the line, and I would explain all of the issues, like the whole book in one thing. Okay, but hey, we're going to focus on just this and this. And then if they wanted to get the video where you did the solution for them, they'd have to do the payment. And then in the video, when I do the solution, I would upgrade them and say, hey, you know, our once-a-month option would be really good, but if you want to fast track, which is genuinely true, like I think we can make much more progress if I saw you once every 2 weeks. Yeah, same thing you might do in person. That process, for anyone who's interested in that, like that worked so good. Free trial, give them all of their issues. If they want to get the video to fix it, they have to upgrade. And then when they upgrade and they start to pay, then you sell them an upgraded coaching package. Was like the one thing that escalated our business so much.
Great, thanks for that. And the other thing on your pricing, you know, you have Alaska Golf, Me and My Golf, Secret Golf for a while. I don't know if they're still online, and some of the other platforms. How did you decide, like your monthly price is a lot higher than, like, let's say Me and My Golf and Molaska Golf. How did you decide to price out your website for the membership, and how, compared to everybody else?
Yeah, I think I looked around a little, right, Lou? I think I looked around a little, like, okay, who's charging what? I think at that point in time, $50 was kind of like the median of people I was looking at. This is 2017-ish. The differentiating factor is that we offer the lessons. Like, a lot of the people will offer that monthly package, and then you just get access to videos. I think that's a mistake. I think you're going to find if you do that, your conversions, mistake meaning you're going to make less money. If the ultimate goal is to make the most amount of money possible, because people can get so many free videos, to Wayne's point before. Like, I think if I was doing just free videos, I'd have to price them at like $20 a month. And that's not, to me, what the competitive advantage is. The competitive advantage is you're going to actually get coaching with it. And these are great coaches, like, I think what you would pay, if you were going to go pay $300 in person, or you pay $79 for the online, that's 80% as effective. So I looked around a little, Lou, like, what are people charging? I think we're giving more than what most people were because we're doing the lessons. So I'm like, okay, our advantage is I'll keep the price point just slightly above, and offer that. When I was doing them solo before the site, I was trying to sell where people would send me their video once a week and I charged them $200. Like, before we built the site, I started to do the brand. I'd be like, you pay $200 a month every month, and you're going to get a weekly, online lesson like that. And so I was like, okay, that $200 a month people are already paying. That's proven. I know they're doing that. Divided by 4, okay, that's $50 a month. And when we first started, it was $39. I was like, okay, I'll go a little bit even discount before. But I think we also too, like, looking back upon my career, I'd be interested if you guys have had the same. I've I could have charged more. A lot. Like, I kind of played in my head, like, discounting stuff and what people would pay. Like, every time I've raised my prices, I get busier. People don't even, I'm sure you've experienced the same sort of thing, like, okay, I charge this guy $1,500, he'd have paid $3,000.
When you're on with the online lesson, do you have lessons where it's live, where you and the student are connecting together?
We don't.
Okay, so this is, they send the video in and then you do the analysis and the recommendations.
We do. And I think what you said there's so good. I think maybe we should do that and could do that. The thing I've run into, like, I think there's an opportunity for everyone here to do that. The thing that's difficult is we run ours as like a gym model. Like I said, we're like if everyone showed up every month and used their swing analysis, we would be in big trouble. Like, we can't do 1,300 swings every month. It's just like the gym. If everyone who had a gym model actually went to the gym, that business would never survive. But they work because people aren't going to go. And I know not everyone's going to post their swings every month. And I feel okay with that because I'm only charging them $79. Like, I feel like I'm giving them so much for so little. So our model's based on the fact that not everyone's going to use it every month. And if we went live and it was like a one-to-one exchange, we could do that, and we would just have to charge higher prices. I think that should be like a VIP option.
So you couldn't do all this yourself. You said you had other coaches involved with you. How many?
Yeah, so I did
and
all
how
of
do you
it.
pay them?
Yeah, I did all of it myself for the first year. I think up until like 150 people. And then Steve's on here. Steve Saraki's on here. I think he's the only one that's here with us that we work with. Steve came on, JT Thomas, Dennis Sales, Steve Holmes, and Andy Patnew are all on there with us. And basically you get paid per swing you do. There's a set amount of money you get paid per swing. And then you do X amount of sessions. The nice part about that, I think, for a lot of us is, like, it's a guaranteed, you don't got to go hunt and get your own lessons. Like, hey, every month you're getting paid X amount. Steve's more than, I don't know if he wants to share any of that. That's up to him, but you don't have to go get them. They get provided for you. It's guaranteed every month. So I think it kind of works for both sides, but it's also like, frankly, we got lucky building it pretty early on in 2017-ish, where not a lot of people had platforms, like it wasn't like 2020 where COVID happened and Skillest happened and now like everyone does it. So we got a lot of really great coaches really early, and I think it was mutually beneficial. But yeah, we sort of like, I would add on, like, anytime I got to the point where I'm like, oh, okay, there's a little bit more than I want to handle, like bring a different coach on. I was always looking, like when we were filming videos with people, I'd always look and be like, okay, who do I think, who would be really good here? Like Steve was Steve's the best. Like, I think he's one of the best coaches in the world. So that was an absolute no brainer for us. David, I see a hand.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric. Thank you for saving me from sports radio this morning, by the way. I would have
Yeah, my pleasure.
drove off the road. But I just want to know how many minutes do you spend per like online lesson? Is it you see it, review it in and out in a few minutes, or do you spend a good amount of time kind of really breaking it down? What's your model there?
Yeah, I find it takes me roughly 30 minutes per person. And that would be like, I'm gonna look at their answers to the questions. I'm gonna watch their videos. You can pretty much diagnose within one watch. Sometimes someone's got a funky move and I might have to like rewatch it once or twice. And then I'm gonna do a voiceover analysis for 5 to 10 minutes. And that's just, the exact amount. And then I'll do the personalized video. So I could do 2 to 3 of those an hour was kind of how it would work. So in the beginning, like I used to block off every morning from like 8 to 11, I'd do 3 hours and I could do, kind of 7 to 9 of those. So again, I think the way we do it works at scale. It works like with a lot of people. I think to Lou's point before, there's a niche there too with the live lessons. But the problem there is that, and if you enjoy doing that, and that's the goal, that's totally cool. It's just you have to be there at a set time to do a set lesson. And I was kind of looking to avoid that where we have flexibility. You can do whatever you want. But anyway, the answer to your question is I think I could do about 30 minutes, about 2 in an hour. Steve, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to echo, you already hit it home, but basically I can do three of them in an hour. And you haven't brought this point up yet, is I think what's really has helped us is the turnaround. You're guaranteed to get feedback within 48 hours.
That's a good point too. One of the things, giving one of our secrets away, one of the things that I noticed in the space, because you see it a lot on Instagram, people will be like, "Yeah, I'll get your online. I was away. I'll get your online lessons back. X, Y, and Z." It's like these people want solutions to their problems. They want them fast. Like as soon as humanly, we're always back within 2 days. It's always really good feedback and personalized. And I would say, David, in the beginning, I probably spent more time than I needed to. But especially that first group of people to get the word of mouth going, just like your lessons, I was like, I'm going to really over deliver, on these. So I want these people to be like, wow, that was way better than I thought it would be. Like, I never want to leave these people with I want them to look at that like, holy cow, I can't believe I got that for $79. Because those same people, when I look back at them, like they brought us the most amount of other customers. They probably improved the most, stayed the longest.
We got John Birkin and then Matt Gowdy, and we're coming up on time. So however you want to finish this out, but
cool. Yeah, we'll do these
Okay.
2 and then I close.
I just kind of wanted to make a comment in the sense of I had a conversation with another friend of ours in the industry who's very active on social media, and I'm just like, for some of you guys on the call probably are thinking what I'm thinking is, for me, I still teach at a club. I love the in-person lessons, and I don't have a team and a staff and the time to do what you're doing, Eric. But the more content that we put out, there is still an opportunity to monetize and capitalize on it. Maybe not from a subscription and actually giving online lessons, but by creating a name for yourself and building your brand, there's an opportunity to make money by getting sponsorships from companies. Like I have a friend, she's getting paid by 2 or 3 different golf companies, getting paid tens of thousands of dollars a year to only do a handful of posts for them. And so that, I think, is a piece. Like for me personally, that might be where I go if I want to continue to build my online presence. I'm hopeful that maybe I can get some sponsorships, because I'm just not going to have the time to go do a bunch of, swing analysis and online lessons. Do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, I think it's a great point. So we sort of really went down the financial rabbit hole here. I have so many other little things like that. Yeah, I think obviously coming back to building the audience, John, right? Like the more people that know you, I don't know if you're looking to ever coach a different club. You coach at great clubs, but it's like the work opportunities get better, the amount of money you can charge get better, and then the ancillary income, outside of the online lessons or subscription, which is large, right? Like that's over 50% of our total revenue from the subscriptions. But that means there's another 50% that's not from that, right? Like the YouTube AdSense, like I said before, we'll do $150,000 in AdSense revenue from doing videos. So it's like, okay, can we find time to do one video a week? Danny Maud, what's a dude? Tom Segudo. These guys crush with one video a week. One video a week. So it's like filming one video a week's doable, I think, for all of us. And yeah, the sponsorships. Like we'll do a lot. Like I'm wearing this hat and this shirt. Like I would get paid more from a clothing company last year than I made coaching total in like 2015. So I think the sponsorship stuff for sure, but it comes back to the same thing. It's the same audience. Like we have at the core level, we got to focus on like, how do we get more people to know who we are? And if like the post and the video is not it, you got to find other companies to do it with. Like I think like Lou's like I learned a lot about you, Lou, from you being with other companies, right? Coach of the Year, being with PGA, being in other magazines. Like it also doesn't have to be our own thing. We could work with other companies to build a brand that way as well, John. But I think for someone like you, John, it'd be like, bigger audience. If you wanted to just increase like their demand's going to keep increasing if you can bring outside members or outside people. And then you continue to charge more, the sponsorships. So yeah, we could talk for a whole hour about that too. Love that. Matt, I see you up there.
Yeah, thanks for sharing today, Eric. So the question I had, I'm in a situation, I'm not allowed to really post much at all, social media, work related. They really, a year ago, I think leading up to the Women's Open this coming year, really kind of put a gag order on us. So I really cut back there. I know I could do more. I just haven't. The question I have, it's kind of geared more towards the private club professional, but how many of you have offered some type of online, whether it's an off-season thing for your current students and whether you're doing it more as like a value-added type of service? I do that with a lot of my regular students where, if they're in Florida, I'll give them a heads up. I coach through V1 and I'll just say, hey, if you have any questions or want me to look at anything, feel free to send me videos. I'll do voiceovers and send them back. But like I said, it's more of a value added type of thing for my regular students, but it's something where I'm starting to think of maybe for next winter, offering some type of program for our membership where they can access me online that way. And if there are people doing that, how do you price that compared to your normal rates?
Can I just make a comment? John Bierkin again. So I can't tell you how many regular students I have at Aronimink, and particularly even my competitive juniors, where I just say, if you're practicing and you want to film your swing, send it to me whenever you want. To me, that I just include that as part of them working with me. And very few of them do that, even when I offer it for free. So it's an interesting thing. Like Eric, you said, people end up buying these subscriptions and half of them don't even use it.
People have a hard time filming. People just they're not good at it. They don't know the camera angles. They don't have the cameras. They don't want to get a tripod. They hold the camera. It's moving around. That's very difficult to get people to actually send in a swing that you can analyze.
And I want to hit one more point to that, Matt and John. I think people also don't use stuff they don't pay for. Like I think a lot of those people, if they had to pay for that thing, and I'm not saying just $79 a month, but like, see, that's why there's free things I think that get people in. But if I've got current clients, Matt, I don't give anything for free on top of that because they don't do it. They need to give up something and feel some kind of pain and commitment to get in the program. Like I find the people that I charge the most amount of money to, right? They do the thing the most and they get better. Like I would charge, these people we're talking about have money. So like, you know what I mean? I won't say certain clubs and shit, but like these guys aren't going to die over $300 a month extra they're going to pay or whatever it is. So I think they got to feel the pain a little bit to do the program. They got to have commitment enough to be in it. And like, I think we all I don't need to keep going, Jeff, like this, because we'll go for 2 more hours. We over lean on giving stuff away and helping our people and being nice. And I think at some point, though, that's detrimental to them. Like, if we're going to give them the free thing, and I'm totally with you, John, I had the same exact experiences. I think if we give them the free thing and they don't use it, we're not helping them at all. We're literally not helping them at all. They would be better off if they want a result, they actually want to get better, to have some commitment in towards it. And I think if you speak to parents about that, who have some resources, they would get that and understand that. And I feel the same way too. I would much rather pay and get the thing I want than not pay and not get the thing.
Yeah. As folks are on and they're still listening to you, if you have time, we'll.
Yeah,
we'll
I don't have to be anywhere till 10 o'clock.
It's
I'll
up to you.
keep rolling.
Okay.
I like this.
Yeah. Joanna had her hand up.
I just wanted to speak to Birkin's point about, he's offering these things for free and his students aren't even sending videos. But John, I think that at clubs like ours, I think our members are so trained to not have phones out, technology. So that's also a struggle. Plus, I think there's this stigma of, setting up a tripod, getting your phone out, getting a camera out, that some people are just feel like, oh, I'm taking this too serious on the range. People are judging me. So I think that's something we battle in the private world, not so much in the municipal or public golf course world. So I understand what you're saying, because it's the same thing. Every lesson I have come in, I say, all right, let's do a recap. Do you have your phone on you? Because either I'll do on form or lesson transfer via airdrop, and they don't bring their phone because it's Marion. So I'm sure it's the same thing at Aronimink and other clubs where they're just not trained to do it because of our certain clientele. So I think that's a little bit of some things we struggle with in our world.
That's a good point. And I think some of these things too, like, and this call is about the building the brand. Like, I certainly do not have answers to all the questions or solutions for different scenarios. I think just in general, if anyone's trying to, it has the option to do things in terms of the building the brand and the stuff. It's like, okay, these are the things. This is kind of what the road, the path needs to look like. And, I think certain forms of that make sense for certain people and certain don't. So for me, like, I never had any private club experience like that. And I've had complete freedom to do all the stuff. So certainly it's been easier process.
So I think too, E, on your side, it's like you're the golf pro Kardashian, right? So the more followers you have, the more valuable you are, right? I mean, really, when you think about just doing the math, right? Like,
I don't know if that's a compliment or is that like
but the correlation, right? Like, if all of a sudden, you're 300,000 people deep, right? You're more valuable to everybody from a consumer standpoint. You're more valuable from a consumer brand standpoint, for sure. Wayne, you had your hand up.
So another thing to consider about being online is, if you ever wanted to teach a tour player or somebody on any tour, if they don't see you and like the stuff that you're doing, no matter what it is, they don't know who you are. They got no chance. I mean, Kevin Streelman, Tom Kite, Brad Faxon, Will Wilcox, all those guys called me based on a video that I did on their swing. I just did a swing analysis. I just like to do swing analysis content stuff. But those guys watch that stuff all the time. The best players in the world are watching this stuff on the internet. They are junkies. Because when you think about it, they've got plenty of time. They got plenty of time to get on the internet, and they're either playing video games or they're watching nerd golf stuff. They love it. So that's how you get in with the better players, if that's what you're interested in. And a lot of coaches see that as the pathway to success, even though it's it has its ups and downs. But Eric, have you gotten any interest from high-level players? Or
Yeah, I definitely get some messages. I think the majority of those that have come in over the past couple of years, I've declined just because I'm putting focus on us building the online. And from the friends that I do that I'm close with, that I talk with, and who work with high level players, I have a general idea of like what's involved with that process. And I just obviously, we leave so much energy on a plate that I can distribute amongst things. So yeah, I think it's yes, but the answer is yes. Definitely get those inquiries.
Lou Guzzi.
A question for Wayne and Eric. With the evaluation of a tour player, you have to pull that video off of the internet. It's probably a PGA Tour event or one of the majors. Do you ever get any blowback from the people that produce that video and tell you to take it off because it's their video, their content, especially like PGA Tour?
Well, you have to understand what fair use is. The PGA Tour, their concern is that people won't watch your video instead of watching the telecast. So if you show too long of a clip, or if you show too many shots, they won't like that, and they'll give you a pull it down or demonetize it. So we had to write a legal brief way back when they wanted to have us not use any of the television stuff. So I used to hook up. The hookups are different now. I use only the PGA Tour highlights, and then I just use the I just record that on. I have a YouTube recorder, so it just records that whole segment, which is usually 5 to 10 minutes of highlights from the tournament. And then I can use V1 and I can go in and snippet the swing. So I have plenty of swings that I can use. You don't get the best cameras or the best angles or whatever, but you can pick and choose. And when I put those up, I'd say it's only about 10% of the time that they'll put a notice on that you can't, when you load that onto YouTube, you hit the monetize button, and then they'll tell you if you can't monetize this because, and then later you might get something from the tour. And then I had a guy from when I did Mo Norman's swing, I had that guy who claims to have own all of Mo Norman's stuff. He threatened to sue, but most of that stuff's just threats. It's fair use, and once you turn a video into an educational tool, it's free. I mean, you're okay. You're okay to use it.
I think, Jeff, if we're going to wrap up here in a couple of minutes, there's a couple just quick bullet points that may be useful that I just want to run through real fast.
Yeah, buddy, why don't you do that and then we'll close it out.
Okay. Yeah. So, like I was saying before, just some of the things I wrote down that I thought were so important that have helped me so much. The doing more of what works thing. Like when I did that, if you're someone who's going to put content out, you're already putting content out, you're getting views, but you want more views. Like doing the videos that work and leaning into that, I think like 80% living in that range has worked. And then the 20% of like testing new stuff. Like we've done so many different tests over the past 7 years of content. How long should the video be? How do you open the video? Also, when you open a video, if you're going to do content, the first couple second hook is important. So like back in the day, you'd see a lot of videos where you'd have like this cool 30-second intro. Now with the algorithms, you want to like talk to camera right away. Hey, in today's video, like I'm going to show you how to fix your fat shots. If you've been struggling with fat shots for the past 10 years and you haven't been able to fix them, I'm going to give you the 2 things. You see what I'm saying? Like right away in the front of the video. Why should I watch it, hook it, attention grab, regardless of platform, and spend like 20% in things where you're testing new stuff, testing different formats. Second thing, anywhere where you can document versus create will save you time. Document meaning like just film whatever you're doing, film someone's swing you're working with, film a lesson, film whatever. If you need content to post, you're like, I don't have enough to post daily, you can kind of shortcut some of that. Obviously, if it's not getting good traction, you got to adjust over time, but try documenting. Third thing, if you put a camera in front of you and you don't like the way it goes, or you don't feel comfortable doing that, you can also put content out where you don't have to be in front of the camera. Wayne showed a prime example before. I used to watch all his videos. I didn't see his face for the first year. I heard the voice, but I knew who he was just from the swing announce. You don't necessarily have to be in front of the camera like, hey, change your wrist like this. You can be doing different formats like that. I think that's important too. Fourth thing, over time, as you post on platforms, you can clip the things from certain platforms and use it on the other. For example, we do 2 long form YouTube videos per week. Let's say each one's 20 or 10 minutes. So I've got 20 minutes per week of YouTube content. From those 20 minutes, we pull 7 Instagram clips and 7 TikTok posts from the same video. So over time, you can do one long form, use clips of that, 30, 60 seconds on other platforms. That has helped a lot. Again, Fiverr, these online companies that people can edit and do things for you. I use a lot of that now. It works really, really good. Those companies, even if you're in your regular business. And then the last point was like, just in terms of prioritizing on the schedule, everything changed for me in terms of our success with this when I prioritized it. My first year of doing the content, it was like, hey, I'm coaching these amount of days, show up at this time. I've got a lunch break, we'll film, you leave. And I didn't care about it. And my results stunk. In year 2, when I was like, this is a priority, I'm going to spend this amount of time on Sundays coming up with video content, studying, coming up with ideas, practicing, and we would film Monday. So I blocked off a 2-hour block every Monday. We still do this 7 years later. Every Monday from 12 to 2, we film YouTube videos, no matter what's going on. And then every Sunday I prep for the videos. So as like my attention changed for it and prioritized for it, the results prioritized. So a lot more we could talk about, but I think those couple of bullet points hopefully are helpful. And I don't know, Jeff, if you can share with everyone like my email or contact info. For those who don't have it, you guys can feel free to send me a message if you have any questions or want to chat about this stuff.
Yeah, you
Eric,
follow up.
I just one quick question. Do you ever feel like because of the way your business model is, you can almost never get away from it and turn it off and like have personal time?
Initially, yes, but now because we built the teams out, it's the opposite, dude. But initially, I hear what you're saying. In the beginning, yeah, it was a 24/7, but I think that's okay in like the building phase of it. But now I could, like I can go on. I went on a 10-day thing earlier this year and wasn't online for a single second. Like all those posts, if you guys see on Instagram and YouTube and stuff, I'm not physically doing any of that. I haven't edited 1 second of one video. I don't post anything. That all gets done through other people. Now that took time, right? Of course, we're in year 8 now.
It's great. Well,
Hey, Eric, can I ask you one question?
Mr. Dunnigan, lovely to see your face on here finally.
Hi, man. If I was good looking as you, I wouldn't have to work so hard. Hey, what about actual product? I have some stuff in the books about like a beginner golf program, which is soup to nuts, how to get started in golf. Like I did a video years ago, Pro Impact and Slice Buster. Have you gone into trying to sell actual products, maybe in addition to or in lieu of online lessons?
I tried a little bit, had a hard time with it, John, in the beginning with like our organic style. But that one company we work with, Performance Golf, they have a lot of success doing that, but they put a bunch of money behind the advertising. Now, I didn't have success with it. Doesn't mean it can't work. I just couldn't figure out how to sell that organically. So I thought you were going to say physical product, which I was going to say, absolutely, yes, like a physical thing. By the way, if anyone on here has some good physical training aid products, that is a absolutely sellable thing. Yeah, send me an email on that. Okay. But I think the digital from my experience has been difficult unless we're willing to do an ad spend. If you guys have seen the Performance Golf, just to give you sort of a general scale, like the Hank Haney Slice Fix thing, the Martin Chuck contact thing, they might spend millions of dollars a month, in advertisements for those. So if they spend $2 million in ads and then they make $4 million, so they made a whole lot of money, but it took a lot to get that in front of the right people.
Thanks.
Yeah, man.
Great to see you, by the way. Thanks for doing this for us.
Yeah, likewise. Appreciate you guys being here. This is fun.
Yeah, Eric, thanks again for the time, man. Like I said, I know you're super busy, but I'm glad we were able to get this worked out. Again, thanks again for everybody taking the time this morning. We will follow up with everybody with Eric's email if you want to reach out. Any closing thoughts before we tap out, man?
Yeah, no, Dick, Jeff, Matt, thank you guys for having me on here. I think this is super cool that you guys are doing this. Would love to be part of more of these. Doesn't, we don't have to talk business stuff per se so much, but I love talking brand stuff. Appreciate you guys being here. A lot of you guys that I saw on here have helped me a lot in my journey. I mentioned John before, let me teach Wayne, some of you guys on here. So yeah, appreciate all that you guys do. Appreciate you having me. Would love to come back.
Thanks, buddy. I'll be in touch soon, man. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
Everybody have a great rest of the day. Stay warm. All right. We'll see y'all.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.